GS score,
GS score, GS score,
GS score,
GS score,
GS score,
GS score, GS score,
GS score,
GS score,
GS score है, GS score,
GS score,
GS score,
GS score,
GS score,
GS score.
GS score.
Hello everyone, welcome to GS Score. I'm Raj Vardhan and today we will be discussing about one initiative and that is question to concept. And today under this we will be discussing about one question from Environment and Ecology and the topic is pollution. So in this initiative we will be discussing one previous year question and what is the concept associated with that question, and then we will also discuss the approach that you should follow to write that answer, and towards the end we will also discuss about the probable questions that UPSC may ask from this topic. So let us start with the question of prelims mains 2023, and that is, what is oil pollution, what are its impacts on the marine ecosystem, in what way is oil pollution particularly harmful for a country like India. So it was question of mains 2023 and it was 10 marker question. So the concept involved here is related to oil pollution. The concept is related to oil pollution. So pollution is undesirable change in the components of environment. So oil pollution, we can consider it as undesirable change. It is undesirable change in various abiotic components, but especially water. Water bodies are more prone to oil pollution. So undesirable change in abiotic components due to the addition of oil. And this addition of oil in various abiotic factors, especially water bodies, is the result of many reasons. It may be a result of accidental leakage from the offshore wells. It may also be the result of discharge from the ships. It may also be the result of natural activities, and it can also be the result of the discharge from terrestrial locations to the marine ecosystem or towards the water bodies, especially ocean, seas, etc. Right? So that is what is oil pollution, and this oil pollution has a number of impacts, especially on marine ecosystem. It has various kinds of impact, and that we will discuss under the answer. So let's try to understand what should be the approach that you should follow to write this answer. So firstly, in the introductory part, you can define oil pollution. In the introductory part, you can define oil pollution that it is contamination of various kinds of abiotic factors, especially water bodies, due to addition of oil, due to activities like accidental leakage from the offshore oil wells, from the ships, from the terrestrial locations, and sometimes even naturally it may also be added to the water bodies. So that way you can define oil pollution. Then in the body part, we are supposed to discuss about firstly impact on marine ecosystem. Impact on marine ecosystem. So the major impact is habitat destruction. Right? So this happens because the marine or water has less oil has less density than water, and that's why it floats on water. And as a result of that, there may be lack of availability of sunlight and oxygen inside the marine ecosystem, and that may put the life inside that marine ecosystem to various kinds of threats. For example, there will be lack of availability of food, lack of availability of oxygen as well. So that is first impact. Secondly, it can also lead to impact on marine organisms. It can also lead to impact on marine organisms. right? For example, there will be various kinds of fishes in that in that marine ecosystem, and those fishes they carry out their respiration activity especially with the help of gills, and it may be the case that accidentally the oil may enter in their body and it may affect their lungs. Moreover, the fishes, especially the larvae of fishes, they are more vulnerable to these kind of toxic effects that may be posed by oil pollution. Similarly, the turtles, they may confuse oil as food and that may be ingested in the body. This leads to the next impact, and that is called as bioaccumulation, and which may further be intensified by biomagnification. Right. So that is also the impact. Then there is impact on coral reefs as well, because coral reefs, they need, or coral ecosystem, they need water which is free of turbidity, as a result of which there will be availability of sunlight, but because of oil pollution there might not be penetration of sunlight towards the coral reefs ecosystem, and that may affect coral reefs ecosystem. And you must be aware, coral reefs ecosystem supports almost 25% of marine organisms, right? So 25% of marine organisms live in and around coral reefs ecosystem. So those organisms will be affected as well. Similarly, it may also happen that the water birds which are dependent on these water bodies, they may also get affected, because due to oil pollution their feathers may get soaked in oil, and as a result of that it would be difficult for those birds, those water birds, to fly, and as a result of that they might become easy prey for their predators. Those are the impacts that you can highlight with respect to the impact on marine ecosystem. Then in the second part of the body, we are supposed to discuss about impact on countries like India. Impact on countries like India. So India, you must be aware, has a coastline of almost 7,500 kilometers, and that's why it is dependent on maritime routes. So first impact would be impact on transportation. Transportation would be affected, and if transportation is affected, it would have negative impact on various sectors of economy. Similarly, there will be impact on tourism. Tourism also is one of the important sectors where jobs are getting created, and it will be affected because of the oil pollution. Similarly, there will be impact on the livelihood of fishermen as well. Livelihood of fishermen would also be affected because of the oil spill. Then it will also have its impact on coastal and mangroves ecosystem. Coastal and mangroves ecosystem will be affected, and you must be aware, coastal and mangroves ecosystem, they provide number of services to us. So all those services will be affected because of these kind of pollution or this oil pollution. So these are some of the impacts that you can highlight in the impacts on India. Then in conclusion, we can write some solutions, right? So if oil spill occurs or if oil pollution is occurring, what are the solutions? First of all, we'll have to take measures so that oil pollution do not occur. But as it may happen because of the accidental reasons, we should be prepared for the oil pollution as well. So what are the solutions that can be talked about? First and the most important solution is in the form of use of some bacterias under bioremediation, which will be able to feed on oil, and as a result of that oil pollution we will be able to control. Similarly, other approaches can also be followed. For example, we can use controlled burning of oil to reduce the impact of oil pollution. But this is not a right solution, because when we carry out burning of oil, obviously it will lead to various kinds of emissions of toxic gases, right? So that way the solution is in the form of use of bioremediation techniques, some equipments can also be used so that, or oil coagulation can also be practiced so that we will be able to collect oil and it can be disposed of safely. So all those techniques can be used in order to take care of oil pollution. So that solution part you can write in conclusion. So that is the approach that you can take for writing this particular answer. Now, based on this question, let's try to understand what may be the probable questions that UPSC may ask. So, first question is, solid waste management is a time bomb ticking on Indian cities. Discuss the impact of unscientific solid waste management. What are the innovative practices that can help us solve these problems? So, based on the oil pollution, similar question can also be asked on solid waste management. In India, you must be aware, we do not handle our solid waste in scientific manner, and as a result of that, towards the outskirts of cities, you must have came across mountains of garbage. So, what are the impacts of such unscientific waste management that you are supposed to discuss? And also, you can discuss about the innovative practices like plasma gasification, then pyrolysis, etc., to manage waste, solid waste in a scientific manner. In the second question is, the discovery of 20th century has become a nightmare of 21st century. What are the impacts of plastic pollution? Can biodegradable plastic be considered as a solution? Right. So the innovation of 20th century has become a problem in 21st century because of its widespread use in various sectors. So what are the impacts of plastic pollution that you are supposed to discuss? And towards the end, you are also supposed to discuss, can we consider biodegradable plastic a solution? Biodegradable plastic is a plastic which can be reduced to simpler forms with the help of microbes, but it is also a threat. Why? Because biodegradable plastic gets easily converted into microplastic, and microplastic is a major threat than the plastic, because microplastic we won't be able to collect, it would remain in the environment, it may also get added to the water bodies as well. So that is what is the probable question that you can try writing based on the question that we have discussed. So that is about our discussion on this particular topic. Thank you.